Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. As you guys know, it greatly helps the channel. So, being quite the updates over here. We are going into year end, and you guys may recall that this year I was really pushing at work, and everything has gone the way that I wanted. So I'm very happy with it. So it's going to be a very good start of the new year. And I've been quite fortunate this year on that front, so that's very good. And this is something that you also know about me, which is I may take some risks, I may do some investments that many of them pay off, some of them don't, but I'm always in a situation, one way or another, of a very controlled environment, and that's always what I aim to do. So in that sense, I cannot really complain. So going into the markets, which is really what you want. So yesterday we had a big sell-off, particularly in crypto. That sell-off has been almost entirely recovered. And today we are looking higher. Yields are a bit higher for my taste, particularly European yields and the Japanese. But are we really going that crazy in the sense of versus where we were a year ago, for example? Not really. We've been in this range. So, for example, if you look at the German 10-year bond, we're talking about 276, 277, all the way down to 255. So we've been kind of locked in these 0.2% swings. Also, the 10-year yield in the US has been 4.1, then sometimes we go to 4, then we go to 4.17, 18. So we've been in that range, a little bit similar actually to Trump first term. So that's something that is important to keep an eye on. We would like to see those yields eventually moving gradually down. Apparently not in 2025, so maybe 2026. Let's see what happens there. But that's relevant, of course. Lower yields means easing of financial conditions, which means better for markets. Particularly the Russell 2000, which is filled with zombie companies. They really need those low yields to survive. Not so much the big tech firms. They just can issue a 10-year bond, pay a little premium, if anything, above US Treasury. So for them, that's not a big deal. It's more of a deal for the smaller companies that have to finance themselves with bank debt. ISM came out yesterday, and we continue on this streak of the worst economic readings in history. For you to have an idea, the business cycle, which is represented by the ISM manufacturing, which came out yesterday, is now, I think, 36 or 37 months below 50, which means contraction, which is quite crazy if you think that in the height of the financial crisis, the most we got was 18 months. So once again, we are waiting for those conditions to change. We are waiting for those conditions to improve. And until we get that, we're not really going to see the cycle explode, in my view. So stocks is a bit different because obviously you have share buybacks. You have forced buying from the 401ks and the RORAs and IRAs and all of it. So that is a bit different. But when it comes to crypto, liquidity and the business cycle is really the key things that I have to watch out for. So one important update on the crypto side is pretty much all the influencers are out. They all declared the cycle to be over. They all called for the bear market. The top is in, it's finished. It's the 4-year cycle, nothing to be done here. Now, as I've said before, they're a bit scared because every time we seem to be mounting a recovery, that is not great for them because they already told all their followers to sell. So they're a bit in panic mode in that sense every time we rally a little bit, because if we do go and make new all-time highs, particularly if we make them in 2026, then these people will all be proven wrong and they will have a very hard time selling anything to their audience. Probably they will need to block a lot of people, and hopefully they will hope to get a lot of new followers that don't remember what they said before. Usually that's how YouTube goes. And you can see this, for example, Crypto Banter is playing the bad cop, good cop game. One day is Bitcoin's about to rally and surprise everyone. Next day, everything is over, it's finished, sell everything. But so he's covering, his position shifts throughout the days. So whatever happens, you can say, "Oh, I was right. I told you to sell everything, right?" So that's his game. The other ones have been a bit more of a hero approach, if you want to say, hero call approach, which is, I called the top on the day, I knew the top of the cycle, and now I'm going to make a lot of money shorting the market. So this is the Ivan on Tech's position. So we'll see what's going to happen. We have potentially the greatest debate of ever in crypto, and the two big factions fighting it out. It's going to be very curious to see which side's going to win. If you guys think you know who's going to win, please let me know in the comment section. I'm very curious to hear your opinion. The two factions are obvious. You have the 4-year cycle maxis, the people like Benjamin Cowen, people like Ivan on Tech, people that say things like we're running out of time. That's it. The top is in. Now it's the bear market, and the bear market's going to happen again in 2029, 2030, and then again in 2020, 2033, 34, 38, 39, all of this. And basically that's it. There's a cycle which is 4 years. It's set in stone. There's nothing you can do about it. It was made by Jesus. And it doesn't matter that everyone else out there knows about it. It will just repeat forever. So that's the 4-year cycle side of the argument. The other side is we haven't had the conditions to lead to a top like we had in previous cycles. And the reason for it is because the debt maturity cycle is no longer 4 years, it's now 5.5 years since 2021. So you should see the top conditions and the top eventually sometime in 2026, most likely towards the end of the year. So those are the two factions. What is the good part of it? It's actually going to be very obvious who was right. If in 2026 we make a single new all-time high in Bitcoin, the 4-year cycle maxis are all wrong and discredited, and that faction will disappear. If we don't make a new all-time high in 2026 and we just have a 12-month bear market like we always had in the past, then the 4-year cycle maxis will be proven correct and showcase that all the analysis means nothing. The only thing you need is buy in October 2026 and sell in September 2029, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And you do this on repeat forever. So who's going to win? Good question, huh? I think is quite a profound question, because this is really the faction of the two factions in place. Now, what you have to understand is the US president is in crypto. Larry Fink from BlackRock is in crypto. A new Fed is coming. It's going to be announced early in 2026. Maybe a certain conflict in Europe is about to get resolved. Maybe some of the pump is linked to people that know something about that conflict. I don't know. Sending it out there, sending the option out there. Is that possible? Is that impossible? Is that wishful thinking? Is it not? Why do I sometimes provide these potential good cases? Is it because I'm a permabull? No. It's because all the YouTube channels talk to you about the potential incoming nightmarish disasters. So somebody has to balance it out with, God forbid, what if things go well? Which in YouTube finance related channels is sometimes sounds almost illegal to say. It's like, how dare you to say that something good can happen? This is YouTube finance. Everything has to crash. It's all a disaster. Look at me, Kevin. He's now on his prediction for the next depression. This is 30th prediction number 35 of a big crash since 2021. I mean, that's it. You have to go every time that a piece of data comes negative. everything has to be worse than 2008. That's the benchmark. So whatever you think about 2008, think about 10 times worse. You should be putting everything you have on a bunker. Basically, this is the YouTube realm. So these are the Meet Kevins. I mean, Luke is very successful, right? He has like 3 million followers, 4 million. I even lost count. He sells a lot of things to people. None of his predictions ever come true, but that's something doesn't really matter. I mean, that's actually not very accurate. I've seen Meet Kevin be very bearish in the morning and extremely turbo bullish in the afternoon. So I guess there's a piece of him that is always correct because he predicts all the scenarios. So I guess depending on what time of the day you listen to him, you get there. My point is this. On the global scale of things, I believe currency will keep getting devalued and liquidity will keep on rising over the years. Can I be wrong on the year, on the month, on the week? Sure. But I really don't have that much of a hurry that makes me concerned about it. So that's the advantage on my side. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for those conditions, business cycle, the liquidity, to really manifest similarly to what it did in previous cycles. Now, the thing that will really concern me is if business cycle is hitting high 50s, low 60s, liquidity is going through the roof, and crypto keeps on falling. That is a concern. Why? Because if that happens, now something truly different is happening, and maybe, just maybe, crypto is broken at that stage. Until then, people say, Bitcoin is diverging from global M2. Yes. Now, here's a news flash that nobody tells you. It has diverged before. When you hit the last 2 months of bull markets, it diverges a lot to the upside. When you have bear markets, it diverges a lot to the downside. And in some periods throughout the cycles, it diverges for a few weeks, few months. But the overall direction, given enough meaningful time, is highly correlated with. Highly correlated with something does not mean overlap, does not mean one-to-one. It means, let's say, 85% correlation. That means, by definition, that 15% of the time is uncorrelated. This is the point that people lose. They forget what correlation means. Not even the NASDAQ, which is probably the most correlated, is like 93, 94%, which means, by definition, that 5-6% of the time is not correlated. See the point? So, am I making recommendations on anything? No. I just told you. We are witnessing history. And much like when you witness history, you really don't appreciate it until you look at it after some years. It's going to be quite interesting to say, hey, kids, in 2026, we had the biggest battle of ideas within crypto. The 4-year cycle maxis, which operate almost under a religious phenomena with it has to be 4 years. Satoshi, which is the second coming of Jesus, has told us it has to be 4 years, so it is 4 years. Forget about what anybody tells you. Versus, hey guys, we are not seeing the conditions that we did see in the past for peaks of cycles. So until we see those conditions, I don't think we are in the peak of a cycle. So that is the fight. That is the historical split of communities. The good part is in 2026, you'll find out very soon which side is right. Maybe the 4-year cycle maxis at the end of everything will be 100% correct. I guess we will have to wait and see. In the meantime, it's December. Christmas is approaching. Enjoy some time with your family if you can. Wrap up some of your final deals before the end of the year. Get some good energy, recharge those batteries for the new years. Thank you very much for listening to me. I really appreciate your time. Don't forget, like and subscribe is the only thing that I ask, and I'll catch you in the next one.